This is one of those incredible stories of transformation. We're about to follow the journey of a young girl whose real name was Sulike, but that's not what anyone called her. No, everyone knew her by a much, much crueler nickname. This is the story of how she found her voice when the whole world had already written her off. So, this really gets to the heart of the story, doesn't it? What happens when a dumb cow learns to speak? It's a harsh label, a really brutal one, actually, one given to a girl that everyone had just given up on. But it sets the stage for one of the most powerful moments of defiance you can possibly imagine. All right, so let's meet our main character. Her given name was Suleika, which is a beautiful name. But that's not what people called her. To everyone, and I mean everyone, including her own family, she was just Bholi, which literally means the simpleton. And her life, well, it just started with one tragedy right after another. First, as a baby, she fell from her cot, and the story suggests it left her with some brain damage, a backward child. Then, at just 2 years old, she got smallpox so bad it left her permanently disfigured. She couldn't even speak until she was 5, and when she finally did, she had this terrible stammer, which of course made her a constant target for other kids. So it's really no surprise she learned that staying silent was just safer. And just so we're clear on what her name, Bholi, actually meant, this is it. It wasn't just some harmless nickname. It was a label. It was a judgment passed on her by her entire world. They saw her as foolish, unintelligent, basically a lost cause. And you have to get this. Even her own father saw her as a burden. In a time and place where a daughter's entire value was tied up in her marriage prospects, he saw absolutely no future for Bholi. In his mind, it was simple. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. Just heartbreaking. But then, something completely unexpected happened. An opportunity came up that would change Bholi's life forever. And you know, the funny thing is, it didn't come from a place of love or concern for her at all. Nope, it came from a place of pure convenience. So, check this out. A new primary school for girls opens up in the village. A government official tells Bholi's dad, hey, you need to set an example. Send your girls to school. Well, his wife was horrified. Who's going to marry an educated girl? But then she has this light bulb moment. Why don't we just send Bholi? After all, her chances of getting married are pretty much zero anyway. Bholi was, for all intents and purposes, the disposable daughter. And if you want to know exactly how they felt, just listen to her mother's words. Let the teachers at school worry about her. That says it all, doesn't it? For them, school wasn't an opportunity for their daughter. It was just a convenient way to offload a problem. But for Bholi? Oh, for Bholi. This was a monumental shift. For the very first time in her life, someone gave her basic care. A clean dress, even if it was a hand-me-down. A bath. Someone actually put oil in her dry, matted hair. These simple acts of decency were so new to her that this tiny little seed of hope started to grow. Maybe, just maybe, this new place would be better than home. And what Bholi finds at school is something she has never, ever experienced before. Not once. Kindness. I mean, just look at this. The difference is night and day, isn't it? At home, all she knew was neglect and people making fun of her. But at school, she found a teacher whose voice was, as the story says, soft and soothing. For the first time ever, someone was encouraging her instead of shaming her. So imagine this. She tries to say her own name and stammers. And the other kids, they laugh. Of course they do. But the teacher? No. The teacher encourages her, patiently. And then she says these life-changing words. For the very first time, somebody told Bholi that she was capable, that she could actually beat the fear that had kept her silent for her entire life. And that one moment of kindness, it changes everything for her. The story describes it so beautifully, saying it was like all the bells in the village temple were ringing. Her heart was just pounding with a new hope, a new life. Education and a little encouragement had planted the first seed of self-worth. So let's fast forward a few years. The village has grown, and so has Bholi. She's educated now, but here comes the ultimate test. A marriage proposal arrives, and it forces her to confront everything, her family's values, and her own brand new sense of self. Okay, so her parents accept a proposal from this guy, Bishamber Nath. Now, from their point of view, it's a great match. He's rich, has a house, and, big plus, he isn't asking for a dowry. But the reality is, well, it's grim. He's almost as old as her dad, he limps, and he's got grown kids from his first marriage. Her parents are just so focused on the money, they completely ignore how disgusting and unequal this whole situation is. So it's the wedding day. Bishamber sees Bholi's pockmarked face for the first time, and his greed just takes over. He literally stops the ceremony and makes a shocking demand. 5,000 rupees, or he walks. This is just utter humiliation for her father, Ramlal. To save the family's honor, he begs, he pleads, he even takes off his turban, the symbol of his respect, and places it at Bishamber's feet. But this greedy groom doesn't budge. Ramlal has no choice. He has to pay. Bishamber has this triumphant smirk on his face. He thinks he's won. He gambled on their shame, and he got his price. But he has made one critical, massive miscalculation. He has no idea that he is not dealing with Bholi the simpleton anymore. So the veil is pulled back from her face for a second time, and Bholi looks directly at him. And what he sees isn't the scared, downcast girl he expected. Her eyes hold no anger, no hatred, just pure, cold contempt for this greedy, pathetic little man. And then she speaks in a voice that is crystal clear, loud, with not the slightest hint of a stammer. She says, "Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man." The whole room is just stunned into total silence. And when the wedding guests start whispering and calling her shameless, she turns on them. She confronts all those years of mockery head-on. She basically says, yeah, you all thought I was a dumb cow. But now the dumb cow, the stammering fool, is speaking. Do you want to hear more? This is it. This is her moment. She's taking her own story back. And right there, in that moment, she is no longer Bholi. The story rightfully starts calling her by her real name, Sulekha. She calmly tells her heartbroken father not to worry. She won't be a burden. She's going to take care of her parents, and she's going to teach in the very same school that gave her a new life. She has chosen dignity and purpose over a shameful marriage. Her teacher, who's been watching from a corner this whole time, looks at her. And the story gives us this beautiful, perfect closing image. The teacher sees Sulekha not just as a former student, but as a completed masterpiece. Her work is done. The simpleton has finally truly become Sulekha. And this all leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Who gets to decide what a person is worth? Is it their looks? Their family? Is it the labels that society slaps on them? Or is it something that we, and only we, have the power to define for ourselves?